Hey there once again, folks. Welcome back to Cat Chats with Brad Welburn. I am Brad Welburn, Sports Information Director here at Louisiana College, and we're talking football once again. And this time we get to talk about actual game coming up this weekend. Very, very exciting. First weekend of college football across the country behind us. First weekend of LC college football ahead of us, and it's going to be very, very good. Coach Justin Charles joining me here for another weekend. Coach, real quick before we get into Alcorn, inter-squad scrimmage, last sort of little tune-up for the guys before we get into the season. So what was the goal there? What did you see? Any guys that you know the offensive ones got a lot of playing time to iron some things out. So where are we looking at right now?
Oh, well, the whole purpose of the inter-squad scrimmage was just to get us the opportunity to find some quality depth and, also get some of our starters some game reps so we can get in shape. And so we definitely feel we accomplished that, but we did find a lot of guys behind that are twos and some threes and even some of our ones. We saw how competitive a lot of our kids are. So we shored up a lot of spots this past Saturday. I know it wasn't a true game or anything like that, but we got some quality game reps so we can start getting in game shape.
Yeah. So, game shape. Week 1, Alcorn, big opponent. They played Georgia Tech last week. If you know anything about Georgia Tech, physical, triple option. They're going to run at you 98% of the time. And so, just real quick, starting with that, I mean, do you feel like their defensive front, maybe their linebackers, maybe a little banged up after just the sheer physicality of what Georgia Tech brings to the table?
Anybody that plays Georgia Tech, I don't care if you're Alabama, Florida State, after playing that triple option, the way they come at you downhill on both sides of the ball, you're going to be a little bit banged up, But we're not banking on that against Alcorn State. They're just they're going to be a quality coach team. Great, they competed very well, I feel, against Georgia Tech. But, I'm pretty sure they got a little bumps and bruises on top of their bodies, man, but they're going to fight through it. I'm sure they will.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about them as a whole, the Braves, just offensively, what you've seen on the film. I'm sure athletes all over the place that can make plays just like we have. So what can you tell us?
I'll tell you this about Alcorn. They're a team that's going to play extremely fast. They've got a lot of flashy guys on film. They got a young man by the name of P.J. Simmons, who's their starting running back, who is the preseason player of the year for the SWAC. And, he's very explosive, man. And so we just got to try to contain him, keep his shoulder pads from pointing downhill. And if we keep that, then, I won't have a heart attack on the sideline, because we don't want him to get to the second, third level, because he's very dangerous. But, their offensive line blocks very well and physical guys. They got a couple new faces out there at receiver, but those guys are tall and quick and lanky. With some great hands, and they showed that against Alcorn State, against Georgia Tech this past weekend. And defensively, they're a team that keeps you off balance, with some things that they do up front. And so as long as our offensive line is able to find out where the blitzes are coming from or where the movements are at, I think we'll be okay. And then in their secondary, man, they've got so much talent back there, just like you said, athletes.
Yeah.
And so, but the good thing about that is we've got some athletes that we feel can match up with them. And we just got to make sure we capitalize on what we need to capitalize on that day.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about, and we touched on it a little bit last week, some of the changes that you guys have made, even with personnel and scheme-wise. We talked a little bit about going to the 3-4, and I know you've made some changes on the offensive line as well. So, and these are, kind of late in the process, and week before a game, that sort of stuff. So, and I know with an experienced offensive line, it's probably not that big a deal. Right. But I mean, is it anything that you're maybe a little bit worried about going into that first couple snaps?
After yesterday's practice, we're always going to be worried about something after every Tuesday's practice. Because we do a little bit of game prep modes type stuff. Game installation, and so I wouldn't say I'm worried about anything. The deal is it's just making sure we stay focused on the task at hand. Offensive line, like we talked about prior, but we have 8 guys that can play in the game solid. And so it was just finding the right mix. And I think this past weekend we found out who our top 5 to start a game is going to be. And the 3 guys behind them are going to play as well. It's just making sure we got the right combination at the right time. And on the defensive side of the ball, man, our linebacking core is the heart of our defense. And so what we did was because of some of the inexperience we do have on the defensive line, those guys up front, you know, we're going to limit what they can do until they get that experience underneath their belt, and rely a little bit more on our linebackers. So we moved to the 3-4, where we can do a lot of different things, come from different angles when we blitz, and give some different movements up front, and take a little bit pressure off of the defensive line, and allow our secondary to play fast as well. So.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly going to be a fun matchup for sure. You know, not an easy matchup at all against a D1 opponent like Alcorn State, but you know, you never know. That's why you play.
That's why you play the game.
And we got guys that want to go out and improve something this year as well. So it's gonna be good times. Game will be live via radio on 104.3 The Bridge with Rich Dupree and Doug Gant. So be sure to check that out as well. And no confirmation yet on any live stream, anything like that, but I'll try to get that out as well via our website and Twitter and all that sort of stuff if you want to watch it. If not, it'll definitely be on the radio. So you can listen on the FM, and you can also listen on the internet stream at 104.3.com as well. The Bridge, it is. We'll give you a link to it, so check that out. All right, Coach. Well, thanks again for coming through. We'll talk to you again next week, and it's football season.
That's
Season's
right.
here. We've got 10 straight weeks, and I'm sure we'll touch on that a little bit as
That's
well.
right.
So it's gonna be good times. Thanks for watching. This is Brad Wilburn, Cat Chat. We'll see you next time.